Welcome to today's jazz standard lesson. Now the tune for today is a wonderful ballad, for me the best composition written by Duke Ellington, In a Sentimental Mood. I'll run through the chords, discuss a little bit about what's happening, and there's PDFs of the chord shapes and the chart link in the description. Let's get on with it. This tune is from 1935. Here's the chart. We're in the key of D minor, 1 flat, and we've got the form being A. Now here's the A section on the screen. Now just have a look. I've written it with first time, second time bars. If you notice on the first time bar, you'll see it says F major 7, then A7 in brackets. That's because if you're playing the head, you want to just play on beat 1, then break on, have silence on 2, 3, 4 for the melody to go 1, da 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 da, and then the melody fills the rest of that break. But if someone was soloing over it, you would go F, 2 beats, A7, just to be clear about that. Let me play through it, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So we've got D minor to minor major 7, running down to minor 7 to minor 6, then move to G minor, do exactly the same thing. So here's G minor 7, G minor 6, then a bar of D minor. Then we're going to go somewhere else, take it dominant, and then we've got a little chord run, E diminished, F diminished, D sus F sharp, G minor 7, G flat 7, stop on the F. Back to the start. So we're going to take the second time bar this time, just hitting the D7 now. G minor 7. G flat 7, then we're going to go F major 7, then a quick E flat minor 7, A flat 7, which will take us into the B section. Now, so that was the A section. Let's place ourselves in the context of the key of D minor. So chord 1 would be, D minor 7 or D minor, E minor 7 flat 5 chord 2, F major 7 chord 3, G minor 7 chord 4, A minor 7 but probably A7 as chord 5. Because it often gets changed to that. B flat major 7, and then C7, back to D minor 7. So that's the chords 1 to 7 in the key of D minor, with the 5th chord, although it is theoretically A minor 7, it's often played as A7. Now if we look back at our chart here, that first line is 1 to 4. Chord 1, the D minor. I know it's got loads of variations after it. Then in bar 3, it moves to chord 4. Second line back to chord 1. And then that D7 becomes a dominant. The 1 chord, becomes a dominant there, which is interesting. Why? Because D7 is the dominant of G minor, the chord in the next bar. So it gives us a stronger pull to that chord. The diminished, passing the E diminished, the F diminished to the D in first inversion with the F sharp in the bass is just a nice way to lead up to it. Now that's included in the original Duke Ellington version. Not everyone does that. If you find that difficult, you could just play a bar of D7 and it's going to sound fine. But we land up back to the chord 4, the G minor 7, then go to G flat 7, which is like a tritone sub of C7, takes us to F major 7, which is the relative major in the key of D minor. We then have, on the first time bar, we have, F major 7, and then an A7, which is the dominant of D minor, which will ping you back to the beginning. Sometimes people in that first time bar will play F major 7, then E minor 7 flat 5, A7, but we don't need to overcomplicate it with that. F major 7 to A7 will do the job back to the start. So that A7 helps us kick off again. Looking at the second time bar, F major 7, we then go E flat minor 7, A flat 7. Now clearly when we looked at those chords in D minor, they're nothing to do with the key of D minor. So this is a key change here. Minor 7 to dominant is your 2-5. This is a 2-5 from the key of D flat major. Now let me play through the B section for you with the chart on the screen. D flat major 7, B flat minor 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, sorry. Then this is cool. Everyone does something different here, right? D flat major 7, D diminished 7th, E flat minor 7, E augmented 7th, back to D flat major 7, B flat minor 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, then G minor 7. And stop on beat, just a 1 beat strum, because then the head would come in, obviously, if you were playing the melody or someone else was playing the melody at that point. So, as I said, the end of the second time bar on the second A section went E flat minor, A flat 7 to take us into the key of D flat. So this is a key change. So we're in the key of D minor in that A section, then we move down a semitone into a major key, so into D flat major, which is why when this bit comes in on the tune, it sounds so different, and obviously it's going to a major feel also, so it's very brighter and happier sounding. Works really well. I think you really hear it so well on the Django and Grappelli version. Sounds awesome at this point. So we're in the key of D flat major. You know, the chords in that key would be 1, D flat major 7, E flat minor 7 chord 2, F minor 7 chord 3, then we'd have G flat major 7, A flat 7, B flat minor 7, C minor 7 flat 5 up to back to where we started, chord 1. So in relation to that B section, we're going chord 1, D flat major 7, chord 6, B flat minor 7, chord 2, E flat minor 7, chord 5, A flat 7, which is your 1, 6, 2, 5. We then have another D flat major 7. Now this next chord, the D diminished, you can approach a minor 7 chord or a chord from a semitone beneath with a diminished, and it will work like a dominant. So go then into that. Then we got this quirky E augmented 7th chord. Why is this E augmented here? It's a really nice chord to play there. It really does create an unsettling feel before we go back to D flat major 7. Now, when you think about the relationship between augmented and dominant chords here, because the notes in this, E, G sharp or A flat, C, E, compared to an A flat 7, sharp 5, A flat, G flat, C, E. So there's a striking similarity there, 1 note difference. So it's working like an A flat 7. You know, these augmented chords have a real dominant push, so you can use them instead of them. So if we play that B section, hear it in context, you'll hear what I mean. Here's D diminished. Here it comes. Works really well. Then we're back to 1, 6, 2, 5. Now then we're away from the key of D flat major via G minor 7, C7. 2 chords from the key of D minor or F major. Remembering that D minor and F major are relative to each other, the same pool of chords. G minor 7 to C7 is a 2, 5 in the key of F major, the relative major of D minor. Pings us back to another A section at the end there. Remember, this is A. Now on this last A section, we're going to do the same as we did before, but you know, if you want to do it in a circle to go back to the beginning, you need to play an A7 at the end, which is why it's in brackets. So you got D minor, the D minor major 7, D minor 7, D minor 6, going to the G equivalent. Love this bit. Here's the A7, which would enable us to go start again. Here's once through the chords close up for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Then you need an A7 if you want to go back to the beginning. So here's some points to think about, right? In that B section, bars 3 and 4, where I had D flat major 7, D diminished, E flat minor 7, E augmented 7th, everyone seems to play that differently. I think the real book says D flat major 7, B flat 7, E flat 7, A flat 7. I prefer what I've got, but you know, you can cherry pick from versions and other things too, but I think what I've got works well with the melody. Remember, you can move that minor rundown around. So if we're doing the D there, find G at fret 10, you can do the same thing. So if you prefer that up there, equally the G minor, find the equivalent for D, go to fret 12 with the third finger. You can find the same thing. Really nice thing to embellish chords anyway. You know, not just a chord progression in a song, but really cool. Nice thing to know, to a way you can embellish a minor chord. Other points of interest. Often in jazz education it's said that you should avoid fourths when you're soloing. You know, don't play the fourth, it's dissonant. The melody, when it lands on the D minor, is a fourth. There. Which is one of the reasons I think it sounds so beautiful. So it's just an interesting thing how sometimes the textbooks, you know, aren't always right. Some versions to check out. Start at the source of the 1935 version by Duke Ellington. You need to hear also Duke Ellington's other version. He recorded it many times, but the real classic is the version he did with John Coltrane in 1962, which is sublime. Django and Stefan, their version is really cool. I also really like Oscar Peterson's version, and also Ella Fitzgerald with Barney Kessel on guitar. That's cool. I'll put a couple of videos up on the screen for you to check out. My video on the minor rundown, which is, you know, that D minor, G minor thing in this tune, and also another Duke Ellington standard you might want to know, might want to learn, Take the A Train. Leave me a comment, please subscribe, hit that like button. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday for jazz guitar lessons. See you next time.